Good morning or good afternoon. This is Dr. Leroy Always for grade school for adults or grade school for parents or third grade math for parents or fourth grade math for parents or whatever you want to call this channel. And I'm having fun. Just too many things to do. Now, one of the things I want to discuss are teaching aids and things that you can help with your kids. Now, you can see a bunch of them on the wall and like the arrows over there. I actually used those in college. I actually made those for college for my engineering classes. And I got aids up there. And the circles back there, if you're curious about them, I'll talk about those at some point. They are for fractions, and they're already cut up like in 1/10, 1/12, 1/3, 1/4, and so on. Really, really useful things to have. And you can see up there angles, and you can't see in front of me. There's multiplication tables all around me. There's maps, and on and on and on and on. One of these days I might show you my room. But I want to tell you a cool little thing I found on Amazon Prime Day, and blew my mind. And I was initially, I was like, now I'm impressed, really impressed. But I have to tell a story going all the way back to 1968. 1968, my dad was a World Book Encyclopedia salesman. He went door to door. And his area was the farmlands of Northern California, north of Sacramento, and around Chico, California State University, Chico, where I went to school, around there and north. And he became, amazingly, one of the top 5 World Book salesmen in the United States, if not the world. They actually, Field Enterprises, which owned World Book at the time, actually flew him to Chicago, where they're based out of, and he got to meet every astronaut up to that point that had walked on the moon. That's what's really kind of cool. And he actually won my very first bicycle. By sales amount, you get a certain amount, you get prizes. He won my very first bicycle that I got to keep and say it was mine, which I really greatly appreciated. And I didn't ride that one, but I rode another one across Belgium and France. Okay, so my wife's pregnant. We go into a estate sale, and I looked down. For sale was this book, Childcraft. This 1968 edition. This is so pristine, it even has the original certificate it came with. Blew my mind. I turned to page 118. Kind of amazing. 118. Why did I know 118? Third grade, matter of fact, or fourth grade, one of the two. I had to stand up and recite from memory. I'm trying to find page 118 here. A poem. And I turned to page 118, picked it up from my wife. Mice. And right here, this is a poem I recited in third grade, and I remember the first lines. I don't remember this one. I think mice are rather nice. And I'll keep on going. Their tails are long, their face is small, they haven't any chin at all. Their ears are pink, their teeth are white. They run about the house at night. They nibble things they shouldn't touch, and no one seems to like them much, but I think mice are rather nice. Third grade or fourth grade. This book came out in 1968. I was in second grade in 1968. My dad was selling World Book in 1968, and it was cool. We had encyclopedias, we had Childcraft, we had the Atlas. The Atlas was, I have a newer World Book Atlas, but the Atlas back then, like this is the book here, the Atlas back then was like about that big. It was huge. My love affair of maps came from World Book. Okay, when I went to graduate school in 1985, as I left my parents' house, the last thing I did as I left my parents' house is I stole a book. This one, World Book Encyclopedia, edition 1977, came out when I just started high school. And the reason why I stole this is because my parents had a couple of them, and I've had this since 1977. My kids get introduced to this book. My kids, they have to look up words, and I don't let them define words on using Google or something like that. They have to use a dictionary, and this is old resource, but I love it. It's been in my collection for years and years and years. So on Amazon Prime Day, so I'm just cutting all this. Amazon Prime Day, I do a little search. Maybe I can find a math book. And there's a sale on a math book, an amazing math book. Okay? Whole numbers. And up here, it says World Book. It's from the World Book Encyclopedia Company, Chicago. It's no longer Field Enterprises, but they're still the same company. And so I decided I'm going to buy this book. But not only am I going to buy this book, I'm going to buy the whole set of books. Okay? And I'll come back to this in a second. So I buy it. It's on sale. I buy it. I wait about Amazon Prime Day. It took a little while for them to send the books. And it wasn't from Amazon Prime. It was from some other person. And it wasn't from World Book. It was from, like I said, from another seller. And they didn't send me this book. Oh, they sent me this book. And again, from World Book Encyclopedia. And they're called the building blocks of physical science. And we have sound, matter, and its properties. Matter, how it changes. Okay, magnetism, light, heat, gravity. Yes, I need gravity. Force and motion. I have force. I have motion. Electricity and energy. I need more energy. But the cool thing about this book, I almost calmed down myself there. Cool thing about this book is I open it up. And initially, I open it up and I look at it, and it's a comic book, all right? But I start reading. And the cool thing is, it's spot on. It's spot on, grade level, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade maybe, even, okay? Maybe a little bit higher in some cases, because I don't know what grade they're going to talk about electricity. Great book, really cool book. Now, right here, there's this little star thing down here, and it says, includes online access to activities. And it's www.worldbook.com /building blocks. Now, I'm not getting paid. That's the whole thing. My dad got paid many, many, many years ago. I'm kind of paying back World Book for all the cool stuff I got to do as a kid. I got to cut up a World Book Encyclopedia set. Cut and paste. I did cut and paste the old-fashioned way. So I go, I want these. I'm not going to return them. I'll keep them. But I want these, okay? Now, again, it's a comic book. I know it's a comic book, okay? And, there is, we'll go over it, but we're going to come back to this one. Whole numbers, decimals. Kind of cool thing. What are we doing in 4th grade? Decimals. What were you doing in kindergarten? Whole numbers. Actually, counting numbers, but you switch to whole numbers. Okay, and operations and with whole numbers. Well, operation with whole. What do you think the operations with whole numbers on? Well, adding, subtracting, dividing. Okay. What grade is that? 3rd grade. Advanced fractions. Okay. 3rd grade, you got into fractions. 4th grade, you're getting a little bit more fractions. 5th grade, you get a little bit more fractions. Okay. Geometric measurements. Now, yeah, they got introduced in 3rd grade to geometry. They had, I'm looking up there because I need to refresh my memory. They had quadrilaterals. And so they had triangles, rectangles, squares, parallelograms, and all those things. They got introduced to those in 3rd grade. 4th grade, they're doing them again. Why? More measurements. They got into area and areas of rectangles. They got into perimeters of rectangles or weird shapes, but all the weird shapes had 90-degree angles. Okay, but so geometric properties, measurements, something else. 4th grade. Geometry in general. Okay. By the way, I'm going to start doing a really cool geometry channel for kind of high schoolish. Okay. And what's this? Ratios and proportions. It's really hard to read it backwards when it's on the screen. Ratios and proportions. Yeah, guess what? 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. That'd be really cool in 5th grade. Okay, units and measurements. They started doing that way back in 2nd grade. They started talking about units and measurements. Okay, maybe in kindergarten. Cool book, but again, these are a little more advanced. This is not really 2nd grade, 3rd grade, but you could show these in 2nd grade. You could show these in 3rd grade. You can buy them for your school. World Book. I'm giving you an endorsement. You should fund me, whatever. You should promote me or put ads on me or whatever. You should like me. Whatever. Everybody should like me. Okay, expressions and equations. Interestingly, my kid missed a question last year because she thought the word was equations, but the answer was expressions. So we talk a little bit different about those in there. And then data and statistics. And yeah, guess what? 2nd grade. Or 3rd grade. 3rd grade, they were doing data and statistics. They were going around counting cars. One of my kids was going to the parking lot counting blue cars, green cars, red cars. Okay, cool. Really awesome. But why am I picking this one? Whole numbers. Now, here's the whole thing. I would love to go through this book page by page by page by page by page and show you everything in this book, page by page by page by page by page. But there's this little disclaimer right here. The volume may not be reproduced in whole or in part in any form without prior written. I don't have that yet, but I'm going to give them an advertisement. And hopefully they don't sue me. Okay, first off, table of contents. What are we doing in third grade? Whole numbers. You don't realize it, but we're starting with whole numbers. We really, really are. Okay, then place values. That's what they're doing in topic 1-1. Naming numbers. Guess what? They're doing that in 1-1 too, or in topic 1. But this book doesn't stop in millions. It stops at trillions. Okay. Now, oops, I showed something. They're going to get sued. Don't sue me. Okay. Comparing numbers. Yeah, greater than, less than, equal to, blah. Rounding. Yeah, guess what? They started that in third grade. They're doing it more in fourth grade. And why are they doing it more in fourth grade? They're not rounding to 10. They're not rounding to 100. They're rounding to a billion type of thing. Factors. Factors are, one of the things with when my kids in the third grade, the third grade teachers were telling us parents that we need to really emphasize multiplying over the summer. They need to know up to 12 by 12 tables. I've mentioned this many, many times before. I forced my kids up to the 13 times 13 tables, and I even forced them to do other things. But things like factors. If you know factors, you can find the composite numbers and prime numbers. And yes, they do know things about composite and prime numbers. Started out in third grade, now they're doing it in fourth grade, so they need to know how to do it. But factors. And the reason why they need to know the factors is so it makes it a little bit easier to multiply. Actually, multiplying helps you identify the factors a little bit, but it also really helps in division. Okay. Properties of whole numbers. That's kind of cool. What are the properties of whole numbers? I'll show you some. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to show you something out of this book. I'm going to reproduce it. Don't sue me. Okay. Conclusions. And what you should know. What you should know at the end, just to jump to the end, is... It got a little quiz at the end. Okay, but now each one of these chapters, you're thinking, wow, this book, what, $12, $15, $16? I don't remember what the book was, but when you buy a set, it's a little bit cheaper. But why should I spend that much money on a book? Because each one of these 2-page, 4-page sections is a lesson. And I mean not a lesson. It's like a lesson for a day or a week or something. Just 2 pages. If they understand page 14, 15, 16, and 17, which is comparing numbers, and they're doing themselves a good. And it's a comic, okay? And it also has some funny things in it. It's like right here. Why is 6 scared of 7? You read the whole thing and come down. It tells you the answer. Because 7, 8, 9. Right there. Right there, be said. Okay, why here? Right. Okay, 2 pages. And what is this on? This is just on talking about whole numbers. Just whole numbers. 2 pages. Then we have place values. Place values, we start getting into place values. And place values is a little bit longer than 2 pages because it should be a little bit longer than 2 pages. Cool book. I'm really, like I said, I'm not getting any advertisement money for this, but World Book. My dad was the #1 World Book salesman in the world, or in top 5. Okay, now, there is one thing I am going to copy out of this book, almost word for word, I'm going to retype it up myself. But things like rounding and so on. It's a comic book, but it's not just little bubbles. It has information in it. It's really useful information. And what I'm going to copy off is because I didn't know this. I knew part of this. Everybody knows part of this. If you add up the digits of a number, like 81, and you add up the digits, 8 plus 1 is 9. It's divisible by 9. Matter of fact, it's divisible by 3, because if you can divide it by 9, you can divide it by 3. So, now, if it is, let's take 81 as an odd number. Let's take 72. 72. If you can, 7 plus 2 is 9. Yeah, I can divide it by 9. Guess what? You can divide it by 3. And what else can you divide it by? If it's an even number. If you can divide it by 9 and it's an even number and you can divide it by 3, you can divide it by 6. Okay, so factors right there. This is the coolest chart I have ever seen. Okay, and that is what is divisible by 2? Any number is even. Okay, I got that. What is divisible by 3? Well, if the sums of the digits is divisible by 3, it's divisible by 3. Really? Yeah, 21. 21. 2 plus 1, 3. Yeah, I divide by 3. 12. 1 plus 2. Oh, 3. I can divide by 3. Oh, 81. 81. 81. 9. Oh, 9. I can divide 9 by 3. You know what's really cool? 8,000 or 800,001. 800,001. You can divide that by 9. You can divide that by 3. Amazing. Okay, but that's the cool part. What is divisible by 4? Okay, divisible by 4. If the tens and unit digits form a number divisible by 4. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Okay, let's think about it. The 10 and the units digit form a number divisible by 4. Okay, so 24. 24 is divisible by 4. Now, we're not talking about adding them together. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Okay, you can divide that by 4. But did you know that you could put 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 24, or 2, 4. It's still divisible by 4. You know that? Cool. Think about that. Really, 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 really cool. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Okay, but that's what the book says. Divisible by 5. Okay, guess what? If it ends with 0 or 5, we know that. Divisible by 6. Again, if it's even, divisible by 3, it's divisible by 6. Divisible by 8. If the hundreds, 10, and unit digits form a number divisible by 8. Okay, the hundreds, the 10, and the unit digit, if it's divisible by 8. So, for example, 32. 32 is divisible by 8. 32 divided by 4 is, 32 divided by 8 is 4. What if we put, what if we put a 0 in front of that 32? Okay, it's still divisible by 8. What if we stick a 1 in front of that 0? So 1032. 1032. Again, the 032 is divisible by 4. 1030, is that that's divisible, yeah, divisible by 4. Is that divisible by 8? So 1032 dividing by 8, guess what? It's 129. Yeah, cool trick. Really, 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 really cool trick on some of these things. Not really a trick, just, you can call it a trick. A little bit of math fact. Okay, the easy one, divisible by 9. Let's sum up the digits. If they add up to 9, divided by 9. And I mean, if they really add up to 9, like 594. 594. 594 is 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 can divide it by 9. Actually, 18. 1 plus 8, 9. Well, you can keep on adding up all those digits to get to 9. If you can divide by 9, you can, if it adds up to 9, or you can sum up the digits and they're divisible by 9, the whole thing is divisible by 9. And 3. And if it's even, 6. Okay, so 594. 594, again, if you take those, they add up to 18. 18 adds up to 9. You can divide by 9. So 594 divided by 9 equals 66. It works. You can try it. It's even. Divide it by 6. See what you get. By the way, 66 is divisible by 6 too. And so that probably tells you can divide it by 30. Can you divide it by 36? I don't know. So you could try 3. 594 divided by 3. Okay, well that's 6 away from 600, right? So I think that is divided by 3. That'd be 200. Subtract 2, 198. Okay, so 100. So yeah, it works. Coolest table I've ever seen. I didn't know all these other little facts. Cool table. Awesome table. Awesome books. World book. World book. Come on. Like me. Don't sue me. But it's really cool. I'm going to show you other ones too. But this is one, if I'm this fired up about a book, it's a good book. Now, if you want to buy it, if you can afford these and buy, I can't find it in the library. And this is one of these types of things, if you, like, with me and stuff, my twins will outgrow these in a couple years. It'll take a couple years, but they'll outgrow them in a couple years. And in a couple years, what am I going to do with them? I'll probably just see if I can donate them to their school or something like that. But it's really, 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 really cool book. And I mean it. Really cool book. And I got my kids to start reading them last night. And so then I went in and started really digging into it after they started reading them. And I'm going, this is an awesome book. Let's make a video. Again, really cool book. Building blocks of math. And again, also at the very end, back, wrong side. Also back here, it mentions www.worldbook.com/building blocks. Now I did check that out. They're kind of they're not as detailed as this. They have games and stuff on there. They have little activities that kids can do, not just on math, but they have physical science ones and other ones in there as well. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I don't have all those little graphics, but like, subscribe, tell your friends. Yeah, I'm having fun doing this. Should have fun watching. Thank you. Bye.